It's the most gruesome scene I've ever seen in my life. It's like a war zone.
All the stuff that's here is replaceable. People are not. So having the family is the most important thing.
We start tonight tracking several wildfires burning in LA County. Homes, schools, and entire communities have been destroyed.
And take a look at this map of the at least 5 fires that we are tracking in Southern California right now. The Sunset Fire sparking earlier this evening in the Hollywood Hills. The Palisades Fire is still the largest, burning north of Santa Monica and Pacific Palisades. And there's the deadly Eaton Fire in Altadena. And rounding out the list, the Hearst and Lydia fires.
Okay, take a look at the current size of the fires tonight. At last check, the Palisades Fire is close to 16,000 acres. The Eaton Fire is now more than 10,000 acres. The Hearst Fire is approaching 1,000 acres. The Lydia Fire is less than 500 acres. And it's the only fire with some containment at 40% tonight. Meanwhile, the Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills is 50 acres. And sadly, several people have died and more than 1,000 structures have been destroyed. We do have a lot to cover tonight. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thank you so much for joining us. The flames are leaving a path of destruction and stretching resources thin. New tonight, we're learning all schools across the LA Unified School District will be closed tomorrow as President Biden today signs off on a federal disaster declaration. This is new aerial video of a 6th fire breaking out Wednesday night, the Sunset Fire, based in the Hollywood Hills. Mandatory evacuations were issued Wednesday night.
I live here. I've been here for 21 years, but yeah, it's time to get out, I think.
This is new video of traffic gridlock as people flee their homes for safety. Thousands of homes and businesses destroyed.
It's just jumping from home to home right now. With this wind, there's nothing to stop it.
Wind gusts reaching 100 miles per hour, making fighting the flames difficult.
The fire is being fueled by a combination of strong Santa Ana winds and surrounding topography, which makes it extremely challenging for us firefighters.
LA's Mayor Karen Bass returning to California today from an overseas trip to Ghana, speaking to the public, thanking first responders and reminding residents to heed evacuations.
Hurricane force winds are usually accompanied by rainstorms. But these are hurricane force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions.
Those who evacuated unsure of what they'll return home to.
This is pretty devastating. This is pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
As of Wednesday night, the largest and most devastating fires so far are the Palisades Fire and the deadly Eaton Fire. In Pasadena, the Eaton Fire claimed at least 5 lives and also destroyed structures. A preschool went up in flames. As you see here, first responders ushered residents out of a senior living facility to safety, masks on to protect them from the dangerous air conditions. And a warning from the Los Angeles County District Attorney after 2 people were arrested for looting.
If you think for a moment that you can take advantage of this right now, or over the next weeks, months, or even years, you are wrong.
And Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods is standing by with a closer look at conditions tonight. Is there any relief in sight, Monica?
What the good thing is our particularly dangerous situation with those winds close to 80 to 100 miles per hour has expired. That happened earlier today, but the red flag warning is still in effect until Friday at 6 p.m. So we're still expecting gusts anywhere from 50 to 75 miles per hour. Tonight, we're seeing those winds sustained close to 35 to about 30 miles per hour, mostly around the Malibu area, close to where that Palisades Fire is burning. Over towards the Eaton Fire, still have those offshore winds from the San Gabriel Mountains, and in those canyons, they just funneled through and really accelerate, making for a dangerous firefight. Current air quality, we were hearing about that. Laura was mentioning how the air quality really poor, especially around the fire lines. This is going to continue to settle into some of the lower elevations for tonight, as depicted by our smoke forecast. You can see right in the LA basin here, a little bit of those offshore winds, but we'll continue to monitor that, unfortunately, until there's better containment. Now, the high pressure ridge starting to take over our weather. That will help to bring down some of the wind conditions in Southern California and here locally as well. Hourly weather forecast, we have fairly calm winds for tonight, just a light northwest wind for tomorrow. A little bit of patchy fog tomorrow, but then we quickly turn our attention to some changing weather conditions. We'll be warmer than average with patchy morning fog, but weekend wind making a return, guys.
Good to know, Monica. Thank you. Resources from across the state have been mobilized to tackle the Los Angeles area wildfires.
Firefighters are fighting tough conditions, including high winds and fast-moving flames. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha is live in Sacramento with more on the local resources being sent to help.
Yeah, Chris, Sacramento Fire Department, one of many agencies across the Northern California to send firefighters down south to help battle these wildfires. And Cal OES has been working with the different resources across the state and also with neighboring states. And some of the regional firefighters that have gone there were told they were put to work quickly to try to stop these wildfires. As the fires rage on in Southern California, the destruction is stark. Photos from the front lines show the devastating impact of these flames.
We do our best, and today we were successful in some and we were unsuccessful in others, unfortunately.
Jeff Serpa, a Modesto Fire Battalion chief, led crews from other Stanislaus County fire departments to the Eaton fire near Pasadena. What the photos don't highlight are the strong winds around them.
When we have, 60 to 80 mile an hour sustained winds and 80 to 100 mile an hour gusts, it really challenges our ability to protect people's homes.
Despite these difficult conditions, Serpa and his crews are doing everything they can to protect people's homes. But that isn't the only thing they have to worry about. Another issue, some people not evacuating in time.
People coming in and out of our area, running over our hose lines, so we have to replace them because they pop.
We're definitely used to this type of topography that we're heading to.
Battalion Chief Andy Cranston with Fairfield Fire Department is heading with this crews to the Hearst Fire near San Fernando.
We can obviously show up to this fire, and if they don't need us, they'll recommit us to one of the other fires in Southern California.
Coordination across departments and even states is a key factor in California's response to these wildfires. The California Master Mutual Aid Agreement ensures that resources are available when needed most.
One of the most disastrous things that we've seen here in California in a very long time.
Sean Boyd with the California Office of Emergency Services says they had crews stationed before the fire, but the winds are unpredictable, requiring more firefighters to be sent from across the state.
And I have no doubt in my mind that our neighboring states will offer up assistance.
As we have seen these devastating fires, emergency officials advise us to have an emergency kit ready and know when to evacuate.
Those important documents, medicines, clothing, all those things. Water is really important. It's up to you to decide what you want in your go bag, but have one for each person that'll last you 3 days.
And Cal OES says they're monitoring the situation, and if more resources are needed, they will send them. Reporting live from Sacramento, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Garshpal, thank you. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has slammed California's response to the fires.
That's right. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump accused Governor Gavin Newsom of blocking water from flowing to parts of California affected by the wildfires and prioritizing fish over people. ABC 10's Luke Clary has the details.
As crews struggle to contain the fires raging in Southern California, the governor coming under fire from the incoming president. In a Truth Social post, Trump said the governor, quote, refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. We showed the post to the director of the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences and law professor Kerrigan Burke. Did Governor Newsom refuse to sign a specific water restoration declaration? And does such a policy or document even exist?
There's nothing like that. There's nothing that exists. It's true that Governor Newsom has resisted the last Trump administration's efforts to change how water is managed in the Delta. But there's no document like what the past president's referring to.
Newsom also responding saying, quote, there is no such document as the Water Restoration Declaration. That is pure fiction. The governor is focused on protecting people, not playing politics, and making sure firefighters have all the resources they need. Trump also said Newsom prioritized what he called a worthless fish over people's needs, resulting in water shortages for firefighting and other uses. The fish Trump is referring to, the Delta smelt, is a small fish about 4 inches long, and the Sacramento River was once teeming with them. But in recent years, wildlife officials haven't been able to catch any living in the wild. Professor Burke says without environmental controls to protect them, the Delta smelt are a small part of the state's water policy.
Even if we didn't have the Delta smelt in there, we'd only be able to increase diversions by about 15, maybe 10% on average to the rest of the state. I want to be real clear. There's no tie between the Delta smelt and the fires that are burning in LA right now.
There have been reports of firefighters running out of water. The issue, according to the water department, isn't the lack of water, but getting it where it needs to go. Demand is so high right now that as water travels through the pipes leaving the reservoir, a lot of it gets used up by firefighters closer to the source before it can reach crews and tanks that are farther away. Luke Clary, ABC 10.
And the fight over the state management of water resources will likely continue in the next administration. The president-elect has threatened to withhold federal aid if the state doesn't comply with his demands. Meanwhile, some are now thinking about the impact these fires could have on California's home insurance crisis.
In recent years, most of the state's biggest property insurers have paused or limited business in the state, all because of the rising risk of wildfires, higher cost of rebuilding homes, and state regulations. As we've been reporting, the California Department of Insurance just rolled out what's called its Sustainable Insurance Strategy. It's an overhaul to California's insurance regulations aimed at getting more people covered and giving insurance companies more modern tools to price their products. But now, with these expensive and deadly fires in Los Angeles, we asked groups representing insurance companies and consumers about what they think will happen to the market.
We're hoping the insurance companies that stayed not only pay out their claims, but have built in the rates that will make it sustainable for them to stay and grow.
A group representing the insurance industry says it's still too early to speculate. Our coverage of the Los Angeles fires does not end here. We've been streaming coverage with live reports on the ground and news conferences throughout the day. You can download the ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream.